here, we're talking about being compliant when asking for reviews. Who wants to talk through the flow, the verbiage, and etc., and then we can throw that around the room also.
Yeah, I can just really quickly. The way that we do it, we randomize it. We also randomize, like, you know, how far out we ask them to go back and leave a review too. So some people get it in 7 days, some people get it in 5. Not everybody gets the question or the ask. Generally, if it's with a rebate, what we do is we send them a follow-up message saying, hey, did you get your review? And as soon as they click, or did you get your rebate? And as soon as they say yes, then we go in and ask them for the review. So it's not even it's a re-engagement with regards to the rebate, so that we're staying within messenger compliance. And we're trying to throttle it because this is so effective with getting reviews that you have to be careful to stay underneath a certain percentage.
Yeah. What are you suggesting percentage-wise for the audience to stay under the threshold?
I think that the safe side is still over 10%, but I always tell my students to stay between 5 and 6, 5 and 7%.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyone else want to add in here?
Just about the reviews, Braden's spot on there. It's not a struggle to get reviews with bots, especially if maybe you have an insert that leads to a bot flow or your marketing material. It's tough because then you're going to turn that off. You're going to be aware of that. So again, is that once you have all the foundation in place, getting reviews on autopilot actually is not that bad.
Yeah. Stephen?
I use a QR code on inserts or on the product packaging itself. I think it's the same as a website, and I have about a 14% opt-in rate from all of my sales. And what I'll do is, instead of just straight asking for a review and that kind of thing, I always give them 1 or 2 articles or landing pages or something like that that are other ways to use the product. You know, I also usually include some version of a thank you video immediately in the messenger bot post. You know, hey, it's Stephen Black, CEO of blah, blah, blah. Thank you for XYZ, because that really opens them up to say, okay, this is a real deal. And what it also does, it gives me an opportunity to ask, if you've had any problem with your order, if you've had any problem with your product, click the link below, we'll get it handled for you. So getting reviews, that's important. It's also important to plug in a step that allows you to stop negative reviews from ever happening. And that's one of the bigger parts of my flows, is by providing them more as far as ways to use the product, access to customer service, making it a no-brainer for them. It means going back in, you know, a week or 10 days later and asking for a review. It's like that. It's no big deal.
Sounds good. Anyone want to add to this before we throw out the questions to the audience?
We've been testing product tester campaigns on Facebook, both to your ManyChat audience as well as like Facebook ads, and, you know, essentially offering, you know, it's a rebate. And there's kind of 2 ways to do it. One's against terms of service, and one is not. And the first one is like, hey, we're looking for product testers, get this product for free. You know, people come in, they buy the product, we give them the rebate immediately, kind of like what Brandon was indicating, you know, following up. Did you get your rebate? And then asking like how they liked the product, doing that follow-up. And I really love what Stephen said, you know, like everybody's focused on those 5-star reviews. You also got to be focused on avoiding the negative reviews and making sure you're providing that really great customer service. You can't prevent, obviously, competitors from, you know, trying to
Crash your listing.
Yeah, crash your listing, do those kinds of things. But just providing good customer service goes a long way, and that's just good brand activity in general, and building a relationship with your subscribers. So I love product inserts. I have this on my desk as like a really good example that I got recently, and this is a product that I bought on Amazon, and this was like right on the top. And here, you know, one of the things with product inserts you have to be so careful about that, you know, people are worried they're against terms of service, but providing a good offer without like saying, I've seen those product inserts that are like, leave us a 5-star review and we'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card. I'm like, oh gosh, like don't do it like that. Do it like this, where it's like, it's very engaged. And then this was a 3-product, there were 3 products in here. There were 3 boxes. And then on the box itself, and then inside of the box, another call to action. So just being there every step of the way to get people to convert and making that offer compelling, so that people interrupt their offline experience go online and engage with you, I think is really important. And then of course, once they're in the bot, you tag them, you know that they're a buyer, and so you can follow up and request that review.
Makes sense. Yev, do you want to add anything?
Oh yeah, there's so many good things saying before. Well, Steven is unique, as he was saying. He's got a green room. That's one thing. But one thing I want to actually bridge the rebate with the review discussion. And I love how earlier Michelle was saying that you kind of like blend in your rebate campaigns and your velocity campaigns. And then Brandon was talking about where like you still want to diversify. I want to pinpoint that a little bit more. Like diversifying that traffic. I actually see that as a micro diversification, where whether you switch up your keywords, you're sending different signals to Amazon, but then you can take that a step even further, so more about macro diversification. This is what I see as part, because if you're not even spending $100 per day on ad spend on Facebook ads and Amazon PPC, so it's for the brands that are beyond that, is that diversification starts becoming larger. Sometimes you're sending people directly to Amazon, to a landing page, you're sending them to a influencer article that reviews you, and then all of those come back to Amazon. They're all different signals to Amazon, even more diversified. So if you're worried about your account getting triggered and getting reviewed because it's too many rebates, or it's like too high of a percentage of reviews, as soon as you start diversifying, that number starts going down, meaning like you're diversifying, so the data gets diluted. So that's what I would add that I'm seeing across the brands that are more advanced, that they're diversifying that traffic. And it's either for two reasons. One, it's diluting that data so Amazon isn't seeing those signals, or two, it's just good marketing strategy. Again, don't dilute your resources, do it when you're able to, but you're able to test more, reach different types of buyers within your audience with these alternative approaches.
Sounds good. Cool. I'm going to throw it over now for some questions. So
one quick point to
Sorry, go on, Brandon. You go.
Yeah. Sorry. So the biggest thing that we've seen is an indicator to Amazon is not necessarily when you want to diversify and you're trying, and Amazon's probably going to hear this later, but the biggest thing that they're able to detect is basically the add to cart to checkout ratio. So if you're too far outside of the standard deviation of what is the norm, there's a specific percentage to be at, then either it's too low or too high. And Paul was indicating earlier how you can hurt your competitors by making that percentage very low. A lot of Addtocarts would.
Just what you're saying there, you're spot on. What I've done is that there are some products that are on page 20. They would do a search find bar, right? And then we include their brand name in the first of the keywords, so that way on page 1. And they're getting search find bar, but again, that's a bit of engagement there, and they're getting the wrong code or whatever they're getting, whatever. And they're only a few codes work, so they're getting a few sales, but a ton of shopping cart abandonments. They're on page 20 and it did nothing. Really, maybe boost a little bit, but unless they're getting already organic sales, already sales, I would not recommend any shopping cart abandonment. And you're spot on by saying that. It's a big strategy as well, is that only do shopping cart abandonments if that's a small percentage.
Yeah. So if you're also converting too high, then that's a problem too. And Amazon will actually throttle your keyword rank also. So you kind of need to be where the ideal is and play in that space. So you need to diversify from where you're sending the traffic. The blogs, the different landing pages, organic searches, pixelify URLs that are rotating and things like that, and PPC. If you're getting sales from all those places, you're going to be okay. But if you're not getting any organic at all, and you're outside of that norm of add to cart to conversion, you're going to be in trouble too. So you need to understand that as well.
Yeah, good.
Sounds good. We okay to move on to questions from the audience? Yeah. Everyone good? Excellent. So thanks for that, Brandon. So we've got here, we haven't had too much success turning the chatbot subscribers into buyers actually. What is the best strategy? Currently we broadcast weekly blog posts and do occasional sales broadcasts. Who wants to pick that one? Everyone rushing in. Michelle, come on, that sounds like your cup of tea.
Sorry, somebody was just asking me a question in the chat, so I was just trying to get to it. Okay, yes. So once you build up your subscriber base, it's really a matter of creating a relationship with them. And this is true of any marketing channel, guys. People are like, oh, my subscribers are not, doing what I want them to do. And I'm like, well, guess what? Anytime you build up your Facebook audience, your email list, your Instagram audience, there's going to be that kind of getting to know you phase in developing that relationship. I think the biggest thing is to set a precedent and then to keep to that precedent. So this is especially important as today Messenger is going to start enforcing the 24+1 rule, whereas before it was like on your honor kind of thing. So we're looking at subscription messaging, we're looking at sponsored messages, those kinds of things. So as far as getting your subscriber base to take action, my attitude about kind of the strategies that I say is like building a launch list so that you have your own launch audience that you can go back to over and over again. And the sellers that I have that do it right, that see that consistent relationship with their audience, is where they're consistently giving those deep discounts and making it a valuable experience to be on their list. And also making sure your products are good. Really at the end of the day, I can't force anybody to buy your products, so if you have problems with your products, take care of them. If you're having, if your customers are having issues, take care of them, and this comes back to building a brand, not just winning the Amazon game, right? Of course we want to win the today's battle, but we also want to win the war. So creating consistent communications, and I talk about this in some of my webinars, but guys, don't be bad boyfriends. Don't just want something from somebody and bring them on your list and then expect them to come back to, expect them to be there for you in 3 months when you finally have something else to offer them, create a relationship.
Are you referencing one night stands related to broadcast lists? That's incredible.
Maybe, or
guys,
I share the
be nice to the ladies out there. Come on.
Be nice to the ladies and the people on your list. Marketing and dating are very similar. It's dating and relationships are nothing but a sales and marketing experience.
You should be good to everyone. End of story.
End of story.
Moving on. Okay.
No, wait. I have a lot to add to that, actually.
Coming in, Stephen. In you go.
All right. I'm sorry. To capitalize on what Michelle just said, I agree with everything she said. You have to understand if you're not getting the response rate you want, I tell people it's because you're not having people visit the grocery store enough. Smaller, more frequent transactions, people are more loyal to those outlets than bigger one-time transactions. We're much more loyal to the grocery store than we are the car dealership. So if you have your list, if you have your group, if you have your blog or wherever, you want to send the list to, giving them some part of you or giving them something that enhances their interest in the niche, twice a week or something like that even, is a great way to keep your list engaged and kind of warm for yourself. Additionally, one thing that I'll use a lot of, and I'll tie in with Messenger, is in my branded groups, twice a month or once a month, if I want to do something bigger, I'll run some version of an incentivized something, a giveaway on something other than one of my products, but maybe even a cash giveaway, just to keep the group moving. And what I'll use is a platform called Viper, VYPER.io. And it's kind of a landing page builder, but you can incentivize people in the form of entries for other actions they take. You can build an Instagram list this way. You can build a Messenger bot list this way. You can get more shares. If I'm running an ad, I will incentivize people to go and leave Facebook feedback on the page that's associated with that ad account, so my ad costs come down. I'll incentivize people to share the ad post. I'll incentivize people to send it to their friends in Messenger, those kind of things. But that way that Messenger list keeps moving and it keeps turned over because you're frequently touching them and giving them reasons to talk to you. And so, just like Michelle said, that way when you're ready to make an offer, they're right there ready to go for you. And it's a thing called the law of reciprocity is what you're actually capitalizing on. When you give somebody something that is of value to them, you're enhancing their life, you're enhancing their knowledge about whatever interest they have, they feel like they need to give back to you. So as long as you keep touching them, as long as you keep dating them, when you're ready to make your offer, your conversions are going to be right there. Your list is going to be ready to go.
Sounds good. Dating sounds good. Less of the touching because we've got to go within the legal boundaries here. But it's very good reference.
With Michelle, I met my wife on Messenger. So you spot on about dating.
Did you? You met your wife? Right.
Did
We're
you
going to
really?
move this away from family and relationships because obviously this is going to be published on different platforms. So moving along, if you're starting out with just one product, what would be the game plan with ManyChat? Paul, you're going to say not to use ManyChat and use your platform, but who wants to give a balanced view here?
I mean, I think it's one or the other, right? Like,
Yeah.
those are the two main ones. What's great is, like, for beginners, Paul's platform has a lot of different templates already pre-built. I think that the difference is this: like, I teach my students how to use ManyChat, and I provide them some flows, but they still need to customize it. They still need Facebook ads. And Michelle has a service where she goes in and then automates and does all that for you. And a lot of people just don't want to be overwhelmed with it. ManyChat, the learning curve is insane. It's 13 hours just for their free course. I spend like 7, 8, 9 hours on it with my students. And then on top of that, like, so Paul is more of a turnkey solution, very easy to optimize and to use, like, specifically out of the tools out of the box. Michelle just handle everything for you for a reasonable fee.
Well,
And,
not anymore, guys. So
oh, it's not reasonable anymore. Oh, okay. It's much higher.
I'm very expensive for done-for-you services, but most of what I do is my course and my plug-and-play templates. And
oh, okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah, I apologize.
Like, please don't over-promote my services. I don't sell that.
Oh yeah, no.
My time. I don't have much time anymore.
We're all in the business of not wanting to trade time for money, and I understand that that's the real pain. And at some point, it becomes not worth it for people to hire you. So. There is a hole in the market for some good people that will do it, that understand Amazon. The hardest thing is, like, you can hire chatbot people on online jobs and Upwork and stuff, but if they don't understand Amazon and the intention of what you're trying to do, they're not going to execute it properly for you. And so you need to always understand the Amazon business better than anyone. The best way to do that is just listen to every episode of Seller Sessions.
Oh, look at that, Brandon. I'm going to have to see the checks in the post. Okay, Ryan says, for search, find, buy flow, how do we rotate the keywords? Just use a link rotator question mark. So we kind of answered the question.
I'll jump on that quickly.
Yeah.
What I do purely, and you can do this in ManyChat as well. I don't use any super URLs or anything. It's all search find by. But when I give them the instructions to please search for example, baby blankets, and then Addtocart, and I give them the search and buy instructions, that keyword I give them, I actually cycle between that. So, and I guess, of course, in ManyChat, you can use a randomizer to basically pick any keyword you want. I think a maximum 5. Instead of chatbot, you can just upload a whole list of keywords that just cycle through those for the customer. And I find that to be really effective because your relevancy for those keywords through search find by just goes through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been experimenting lately with Pixelfy's seeker URL, which is their version of kind of like search find by, and that can be used in their URL rotator as well, so that you can rotate keywords. Plus, and guys, like this is just so sexy. Deep links. They've converted all of their URLs to deep links, which means that it'll open the actual Amazon app on your phone, and
rather than taking you to the browser first.
Yeah. Right, exactly, which is increases conversion so that people don't have to log in to their Amazon account.
And Michelle, you're spot on about that. I changed up all my flows purely for deep links and Pixelfy Me. You're spot on. The ranking was significantly increased from that.
Does Danny have a discount code for Pixelfy?
No, I don't operate that.
We promoted it a bunch today. Fernando, Nick, and
yeah, no, they're good guys. As long as they keep coming on the show and sharing information, I'm good. So next question, ManyChat and Instagram placement. We've tried running JSON ads, but they're not much success because it was very expensive. Our audience hangs out on both Facebook and Instagram. I'm curious if it works for you guys and if it's more expensive, less expensive than the Facebook news feed. Yev.
Yeah, I am. I can take this one. So it comes to the Facebook ad strategy, and there's certain things you can control really well on lowering your cost and ultimately lowering your actual conversion. And some of the things you can change is audience and placement and bidding. There's so many things you can test, right? It could be hundreds of things, but it comes down to what has the biggest effect on the actual cost and the audience you're bringing in is relevant to the creative. So whether it's the image, the video, or the copy, those three things. So within the creative has the biggest difference. So like my first impression is you're probably not testing enough because just the different image could cut your cost in half. And in terms of Instagram or Facebook, you'll find brands that are doing extremely well on either one. So the cost, you can get costs down with any of the Instagram placements way lower than the Facebook ones. If your audience is there, your creative is good. So if you already know your audience is on Instagram, then you probably shouldn't be asking like, is it the right place or not? If you know they're there, add it. I would say add more variety into your testing to bring that cost down. Later on, you're growing those subscribers, and are they converting or not? Then that's more of a conversion problem. Then what is your offer? Then test some of the offer examples people are talking about. Is it rebate, discount? Is it branding and content? Then test that offer. But first, test creative to get more people into your flow at a lower cost.
Sounds good.
Can I speak to that, Danny?
Yeah.
So what's the word marketers hate? Friction. And early on with Instagram, and to be clear, Instagram earlier this year, Facebook Messenger announced that Messenger platform is going to be, that's not my dog, is going to be the communication backbone for both Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. So that is going to be rolling out later this year. But until it does, running Facebook ads or running ads on Instagram to get somebody to like take a messenger offer is going to be a friction-full experience because they're on the Instagram platform. You're taking them off platform. Another app is opening, which, kind of freaks people out a little bit. And they're like, whoa, what is this? And Instagram is a solely mobile user experience. You can't, yes, you can get on your desktop, on Instagram, but it's not the same experience, right? So what I have found is that if you're going to create like an audience on Instagram, build that brand, build that audience on Instagram, and then use Facebook ads to retarget them. In fact, data has shown that Instagram is where people go to shop, but Facebook is where people go to buy. So when you're running those Facebook ads, target your Instagram followers, but that's where you have the messenger experience, not running messenger ads on Instagram.
Makes sense. Now the
I'm very
dog stopped
passionate about
barking
this.
in the background. Cool. Right. So Mark, I won't read out his second name because you don't want Amazon suspended him. Anyone successfully automated the process of refunding via PayPal? Don't answer that, Paul. That's against terms of service.
Yeah, no
Amazon
idea.
are watching. No, I'm joking. Mark, it's against terms of service. But if the guys want to share a process, they may have one. Does anyone would like to share a process?
Yeah, there is a process for it to pull the order ID, verify it with your reports, and then but I don't recommend doing that. There's a lot of people that will then go cancel the order. There's a lot of people out there that'll rip you off. Like we just feed everything into a Google Sheet and have an employee verify it, pay it within a business day. We let them know. It doesn't really hurt conversions too much. You don't want the deal seekers anyway. So one of the things that we didn't discuss the entire time, which is that you have to control the quality of the buyer.
Yeah.
So we have a flow that actually asks them a bunch of questions about their buying habits on Amazon. And if they're a deal seeker, we kick them out. Because if a deal seeker buys your products and they have a poor buyer rating on Amazon, then it'll actually hurt your keyword ranks rather than help it.
I hate the word nugget, but that's crystal clear. That's a good
And one
there.
thing Brendan said there about automation, I would never automate rebates. You can literally automate yourself to bankruptcy. Stuff goes viral. You could literally wake up in the morning bankrupt. It sounds a bit severe, but it's possible. So that's why I prefer a manual process. I'd have a VA doing their thing, and I know that can be trusted, as opposed to doing everything automated.
Sounds good. Martin isn't inserts with QR sending Amazon customers off of Amazon. Any stats on suspensions for inserts? I'll take this one. The only real time I see problems with inserts is not because someone's reading the inserts in the FBA center. It's because arseholes on the platform are basically reporting you for your inserts. So they're taking photographs of your competition to then get you suspended so they can increase their rankings. Does anyone else want to add on that one? It's gone quiet again because I used the word arseholes. Sorry.
I know people are concerned about it. I have never, with all the sellers that I've worked with and sellers that I've trained, like I've never, nobody's ever been like, oh, I got suspended because of my product insert. But that being said, I think it still comes back to what is the offer on the insert. Like I said earlier, if you're offering, like, give me a 5-star review and I'll give you a $50 Amazon gift card, I think that's being super blatant. But like in this example, these guys are offering, and you guys are all asking me for pictures of this insert. I'm happy to share it. To give you an example, but like these guys are offering an ebook on how to use the serums that are in the box. So, like, you're providing value, and Amazon's concern is like, are you taking people off the platform to then sell to them directly? The majority of the Amazon sellers are bringing them, in ManyChat so that they can then drive the traffic back to Amazon. Right. So, if anybody's super concerned about that, I'm just saying personally, I've never heard of somebody getting, suspended, but I think it really comes down to your call to action.
Cool. Next question. There seems to be a lot of you guys have been answering some of these questions. Brandon, is there anything you're standing out here that you've been in the comments here on the webinar where the questions hasn't been answered?
No, for the most part, I think everyone's just asking about like specific types of QR codes, the purpose. At the end of the day, like Michelle's biggest thing was friction, and marketers, like, you don't want to add a lot of unnecessary steps, but at the end of the day, you have to add certain friction in order to qualify your buyers. You have to add certain friction in order to make sure that they're willing to take the steps that you need them to take for the ranking. We didn't really cover too much about, like, I know Paul talked about like having people go to the wrong listing on accident, quote unquote, like, but you could do, even with the landing pages that was like Viper, or even in your instructions in your ManyChat flow. I don't know why you need to bring them to a landing page. You could just do all that in a flow. But you could have them do things where they add another product to cart so you can get frequently bought together, where you can, like, there's so many things you can do that we didn't discuss that are on a higher level. And I know you love those gold nuggets, but
we'll
buyer
save
quality
that.
score is the main thing.
What we can do, we can save that for round 2 in a few months' time.
Okay.
We can do a revisited show.
Yeah, there's going to be some higher level stuff that I probably shouldn't be sharing too much but I do love to be as transparent and give as much value as I can whenever I'm with you. You know it.
Sounds good. Cool. Well, look, let's wrap that there. As everyone's gracefully gave up so much of their time, I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone and go around the room and let people know how they can reach you for your services and reach out to you, mentoring, etc. So starting with the doctor, Yev, you go first.
Facebook is best, so either personally add me or find our Facebook group that has a Zon tracker in the name.
Excellent. Paul Harvey.
Yeah, just find me on the chatbot, our Facebook group, email, just find us there.
Cool. And Stephen?
The easiest way to get a hold of me is to look at my Facebook group, Unstoppable FBA, or you can contact me through the website of the same name. That's where I post a lot of articles on different subjects I talk about. Or if you just want to message me on Facebook, look for the red bearded guy in the suit, and you'll know exactly who I am. So
definitely, you've got one. I'll say it myself. You've got one of the best. There's probably 3 or 4 top Facebook groups. For me, there's hundreds of them, but you've definitely got one of the best out there. Brandon,
what was the name of the group for Stephen? I want to make sure I'm in it.
Unstoppable FBA.
Unstoppable FBA. Brandon, I'll go ahead and just add you.
Awesome, man.
Add me too.
Okay.
Brandon?
Yeah. Seller Systems is like my university. I'm the private label constructor there. You can find me brandonmyoung.com, Amazon private label course.com. Add me on Facebook. Join Seller Systems Succeeding on Amazon Facebook group.
Cool. Michelle?
I put the link in the chat so you guys can all see it, but my website, amzmessengerbotclub.com. People always try to add me on Facebook, but the reality is that that's like where I post pictures of my like dog and kids, most of the time. So if you're really looking for, my Facebook group, search for Amazon Messenger, like Amazon Messenger Facebook group, and those are pretty much the best ways to get a hold of me.
And sounds good. Have I covered everyone here? Stephen, you've gone. We've had Paul, we've had Yev, Brandon, Michelle. I've just got a couple of things I'll just want to cover before we go, just to let you know the Evelyn Demirov Mastermind, the Orange Hat Mastermind we brought to London, 7th of September, is now sold out. That's sold out in 48 hours. But if you want to So again, thank you for the support. But if you want to come to the next one, I'll find out some more dates of when we can bring them back. Next week, I'll be announcing the early birds for Seller Sessions Live. We've sold out the super early birds. So we've done a third of the tickets already for May 9th next year. So we've sold them out 11 months in advance. We've also got really big plans, again, to raise the bar to make the event better than the last one. And the after party was epic last time. We had 5 venues. This time, we're going for something even bigger, so to top that as well. So there's be a promo video dropping for that next week, along with access to tickets. And then there's Seller Poll. So Seller Poll, basically, the voting will be opening soon. I don't have the link. We're trying to get it ready today, but it hasn't been finished. I will send that out. So basically what it is you'll be able to vote for outstanding contribution, software, small and large conferences, Facebook group, podcasts, YouTube channels, etc. So this is voted for by the sellers. Basically, it means that none of it, like Seller Sessions or Data Brill, none of my business or relationship, because we want the credibility of the awards being proper and taken care of by the community, we can't be brought in to win or be nominated for any of the awards. So hopefully you'll be voting for some of these guys here, because they do a lot of contribution to the industry. Again, this is something for me, it's a labor of love. I'm doing it completely free, off my own back, but I want to be able to celebrate our industry and have people to go to, know the safe haven to go to people. And obviously this is voted for by the public. So I'll announce that a little bit more next week, and I'll send a link around for that. But guys, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, gracefully for giving up your time. I will get you back individually on the podcast, and I'd love to do a round 2 of this in the next few months. So I'm going to say take care, and thank you for everyone for joining.
Thanks, Dan.